The order tore through the marble hall like a whip. Open the maid's bag. Filth like her probably hides toilet rags. Laughter erupted from the crowd of cadets, echoes bouncing off stone and steel. Lyra stood still in the center of it all, hands at her sides as her frayed gray bag was snatched from her grip and hurled across the tiles. Its contents spilled in a sad scatter: stale bread, debt slips, a worn photo curled at the corners. "Look at that, born from the gutter," a cadet sneered, grinding her heel onto the photo until it tore in half. Lyra didn't flinch. Her eyes stayed steady. No tears, no trembling, just a calm that made the cruelty around her feel even uglier. From the pile of discarded belongings, a fold of fabric slid free and hit the floor with a soft thud. Light caught the gold stars stitched into it, a general's insignia, and a name: Cassian Kestrel. The laughter died instantly. The loudest cadet stumbled back, face draining of color as the chandeliers reflected off the insignia. In the far corner, a quiet figure in a captain's jacket stared a little too long at the torn photo on the floor. A young Lyra standing beside a man in uniform. No one else noticed. The hall, grand and cold with polished stone and high banners, wasn't built for someone like Lyra. At least, that's what they believed. To them, she was just the janitor, worn-out sneakers, gray sweater, mop bucket squeaking down the corridors. Alara Dorn, their leader in cruelty, stepped forward, her designer boots clicking sharply. A perfect face with sharper words. She hauled Lyra's bag up again like a trophy. "Let's see what else she's hiding." The cadets roared. Before she could dump it again, a scrawny junior cadet puffed out his chest, trying to impress the crowd. "Look at her shoes. Bet she can't even afford laces." More laughter. He kicked her sneaker, knocking loose a flap of worn rubber. Lyra finally spoke. "You done?" The boy froze. The crowd turned on him instead, mocking his sudden loss of courage. Alara emptied the bag, delighted. "Let's see. Scraps, coins, this ugly notebook." She flipped it open and butchered a foreign phrase, making the cadets howl. A wiry cadet kicked Lyra's coins across the floor. She probably stole those. In the corner, an older janitor watched, her hands tightening around her mop. She took a step forward, but Lyra glanced at her, just a brief, soft warning, and she fell still. Lyra bent to gather her things. Her hand hesitated only once, barely, when she picked up the torn photo. The man in it had her eyes. She slipped it quietly into her pocket. Alara noticed and sneered. "What's this? Gonna cry? Imaginary daddy?" Lyra stood. "It's just a photo." The words were simple, but something in Alara's smirk faltered. A senior cadet chimed in. "Maybe he's her boyfriend, from the slums." Lyra blinked once, then murmured, "You sound like you'd know." His face reddened. Then Colonel Darian Vale entered, tall, cold, authoritative. His presence sucked the air out of the room. One look at Lyra's scattered belongings, and he said, "Pick up your trash and get out." A young female cadet, eager to win his approval, kicked dirt onto the torn photo. She probably lives in a cardboard box. Lyra knelt, wiped the photo gently, and stood. "Standards?" she asked softly. The girl stepped back. Lyra gathered her things without breaking, not even when another cadet tried to trip her. She slipped past his foot like water. Outside the hall, she paused by a window. For a moment her shoulders sagged, but then she straightened again and walked on. Inside, Captain Thane Roar dug Lyra's bag out of the trash where Alara had tossed it. His fingers brushed a heavy old watch inside, CK01 engraved on the back. Before he could speak, Darian crossed the room in 3 strides and snatched it. "Where did you get this?" he demanded. Lyra turned, halfway to the door. "It was my father's." Darian froze. Real fear flickered in his eyes. She's bluffing, a lieutenant muttered. Lyra's gaze cut to him. You sure? His tie-straightening hand froze mid-air. Alara tried to laugh it off, but her voice cracked. Thane noticed the stitching on the uniform, laser-etched codes only Cassian Kestrel's bloodline would know. Darien folded the uniform quickly, hiding it. We'll look into this, he said, trying to sound steady. Lyra only walked out. Someone whispered, I'm sorry, as she passed, but she didn't respond. The next day, Alara wasn't finished. She staged a public bag check in the main hall, dragging Lyra into the center like a spectacle. More scraps spilled, more jeers, more cruelty. Lyra just watched them. An officer accused her of being a disgrace. Lyra tilted her head. Then why is your hand shaking? The officer dropped her pen. Alara lifted Cassian's uniform, smirking, until Darien stepped in sharply. Enough. A nobody pretending to be a kestrel, someone muttered. I never said I was pretending, Lyra answered. Thane saw the coded stitching again. Only Kestrel could decode it. Darien folded the uniform with trembling hands. You're done here. Lyra stepped closer. I know what you're afraid of in that uniform, Colonel. He froze. A sharp beep cut through the air. The wall screen flickered to life. Financial records. Darien's name tied to missing millions. Silence spread like shockwaves. Lyra didn't look at the screen. She just picked up her bag and walked toward the door. Darien's voice cracked as he shouted, Arrest her! She's a spy! Guards grabbed her. Alara live-streamed it, desperate to regain control. Lyra didn't resist. She looked at Thane once, calm, steady. He tightened his grip on a pen. Then, all units stand down. The hall froze. General Cassian Kestrel walked through the doors, alive, battered, undeniable. Phones dropped, cadets stumbled back, Alara slid to the floor. Cassian's eyes locked on his daughter. Release her. The cuffs came off. He handed Darien a tablet. You're under arrest for treason, embezzlement, and the attempted cover-up of my death. Guards moved in. Alara tried to crawl to Lyra, sobbing. Lyra stepped away without a word. Cassian turned to his daughter, voice deep with pride. Honor doesn't come from a uniform. It comes from standing your ground. He pinned a new insignia on her shoulder. Lieutenant Colonel Lyra Kestrel. The hall went silent. Lyra didn't smile. She only stood taller. News spread around the world. Alara's downfall was swift, Darien's trial inevitable. Cadets who mocked Lyra couldn't meet her eyes. Lyra didn't stay long. She walked out with her father, past the reporters, into a waiting SUV. She didn't look back. Weeks later, rumors swirled. Favoritism, nepotism, whispers from bitter old officers, social media split in half. Lyra ignored it all. At a congressional hearing, a senator sneered, Do you really think you're strong enough to carry your father's legacy? Lyra didn't answer. She plugged a USB into the podium. Cassian's recorded message filled the room. Everything I've done, every honor I've earned, belongs to Lyra Kestrel now. Silence, then a shift, respect, fear, realization. Lyra leaned toward the mic. I'm not here to carry my father's legacy. I'm here to finish what he started. She walked out, head high, the flag of Helion waving above her. The world finally knew her name.